Welcome to the Midnight Gaming Council. My name is Pat, and here with me again this week is Brad Sweet. How you going, man?
Yeah, good.
Fuck yeah. So, well, you got your nice tablet, laptop, hybrid thing here?
All set up even with all the game cases here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we got, there's a reason for these game cases tonight, and we'll delve into that in a sec. But we got Uncharted 2 for PS3, Test Drive Unlimited 1, Oblivion, which is Elder Scrolls 4, and an expansion pack, the Shivering Isles, for the Oblivion. Which, actually, this is very interesting because you don't see many of these DLC sort of cases anymore these days, so that's very cool.
As I discussed with you earlier, the very reason why I got it in the first place.
Yeah, just because it was, oh, holy hell, it's a DLC thing.
And internet back then for this game was horrible.
True.
You're better off buying the disc to install content than...
If it's a few gig, then yeah, you gotta...
Instead of waiting.
Oh god.
Oh god, no.
No, those days are long past.
Painful days.
Gone behind us. And speaking of long gone and painful and just in the past, tonight's topic, the dreaded Red Ring of Death for the Xbox 360. And the also equivalent for the PS3, the Yellow Light of Death.
Yeah.
It's the YLOD. YLOD?
Yes.
And the R-Rod. However you want to acronym it. So you had a 360 back in the day.
Yes, I did.
Did you get it at launch?
I did get the launch 360.
Alright, now, straight to it.
Yeah.
How long did that last you?
A few months.
Wow, alright. I was expecting you to say like at least a year or so.
No, it was even if that, like I encountered problems within my first few weeks of owning the console.
Shit.
Yeah, and this was all disk drive related. So the first game I ever got for the console was Oblivion, and I was recommended this game by a mate of ours, Matt Jessup.
Oh yes.
Remember Matt?
Yes, I do.
And we used to play this game heaps. Like in high school, after high school, and just put hours and hours into it, and all of a sudden while you were playing it, the game had just stopped working, it had hard freeze, and you're like, well, okay, good thing I saved it, take it out, put it back in, and it'll work for a bit, and you're like, oh, okay, everything's sweet, and then all of a sudden, froze again. And this is all just read-write issues off the disc.
Would it happen at a certain point in the game, or was it just random, like after a few minutes, or like an hour or so of playing, or was it just inconsistent?
It's very inconsistent because I think particularly with this console, like because it was the first release, I had it vertical, so standing upright.
Yes, upright. Yes.
And many of the problems that were had was because of having it vertical. You'd find that the system would operate far better if you had it lying flat, like horizontally, because what it was is the tray pops out, and then the disc is harnessed by like two little plastic clips on the side to stop it from falling. So that'd go in and it'd slide in, but because it's not exactly flat, it's not going to make good read-write contact with the lens. So then you get like inconsistent sort of...
Because the disc might be like wobbling
or something. And this is in cases where people's discs have been scratched because of that.
I do remember hearing about this back in the day, yes.
That's right.
Because it was vertical, I guess. Well, that's just insane. Because the PS2 had that thing too. You put the disc in and it had like a slot to put it in. I didn't really have any of those sort of issues with the PS2, but different consoles, so whatever. But fuck. Alright, so only a few months. Jesus. This is even nothing to do with the Red Ring of Death yet.
No.
And you've already encountered like disk drive issues.
Yes.
Fuck. So was there any other games at the time that was doing it too as well?
So Oblivion, and this was actually the very, very first game. Arcade Oblivion that I had, so this was Test Drive Unlimited, the very first one that ever came out, and that game was absolutely fantastic. I put so many hours into it. So it's the entire Hawaii Island map.
Oh, that's
recreated in engine, like in the game engine. It's actually partly developed by Atari, because you might see just Atari's on the front there too.
Yes, just a small logo there.
For the time, this for me was the racing game to have. Because it had like all in-car views, it was an open world sort of island and you could drive around, and it was all online too,
Oh,
so you could see
jeez.
like your friends in the game driving
Like
around
in
all
the
together.
same
Yeah, and this
thing or
is
whatever.
2006. So this is like for me this is like the first real introduction to like an online open world racer.
Yeah, it's like the first gem of that sort of type of game, because a
Yeah.
couple of years beforehand you had like Need for Speed Underground 2,
Yeah.
which was open world,
But
and
it wasn't really online
no,
as such.
no,
Yeah.
this takes the next step, like, yeah, and a bigger map obviously,
And
better
like,
graphics.
like just the detail that they went into, like in the car interiors and things like that for all the different models. Like you could see like all the logos on the steering wheel,
Dashes
and
or
like
whatever, and
you
yeah.
could even customize the interior like to all the colors that you wanted to show up in the game, and you could see it as you're driving around. Like look
Some
left
games these
and
days
right.
don't even do that.
They don't.
Like you can't do the interior, like change it or
You
whatever.
can, no. So this game, like for me, was like well ahead of its time.
Yeah,
And yeah, like
for a 12-year-old game, it sounds like with modern games, like, oh yeah, go online with your friends or whatever, and
I think I almost got all the achievements for it too. Actually,
oh,
I'll have to go back, but that was on my original 360 account, which I don't have anymore.
ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. Alright, so
Yeah.
yeah, did you have any problems with it?
With this game, I've had a couple of issues just like reading the disc.
Okay, so you have more
Um,
disc.
Yeah,
issues.
more disc issues, read-write disc problems. But other than that, no, it was very good.
Motion sounds better than Oblivion in that sort of sense.
Yes, yeah.
So, alright, so when did you first experience this Red Ring of Death bullshit?
In all honesty, the Red Ring of Death was probably... I wouldn't even know if it was a Red Ring of Death, to be honest. I mean, I did have like a hardware failure of sorts, which took like actually forced me to pull the console apart.
Okay.
And I ended up taking the disk drive out and actually having a look inside and sort of just around where sort of the heatsink was,
Yep.
the CPU, I mean the GPU.
So you went full on, like,
Yeah,
inside
full
the
on
console?
inside everything.
Just to see if everything was alright?
Yeah,
any
there's-
thermal paste was gone or whatever? just shit like that?
No, well, I didn't take any of that off because
Yeah.
I wasn't really game to, but
Yeah.
I like there's dust deposits, which is sort of standard.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like, with the games themselves, like, it just seems to be all really disk drive error related stuff for me,
Okay.
and
Yep.
even just complete hardware fail of the disk drive altogether, where it just won't read the disk, and then that'd even cause the hardware just to shut down.
Shit.
So.
Yeah, if it's not reading the hard drive or...
Because I gutted the hard drive, and when I found, like, I mean not the hard drive, the disk drive,
Yeah.
and when I took it out, I didn't bother putting it back in because I just knew it was stuffed.
Oh, I think I remember seeing this actually, your
Yeah.
old console without the
Hasn't
seat
got it in
inside
there.
the thing, yeah.
Yeah, because you'll laugh at this. That disk drive's went in the bin, never to be seen again.
I think that sounds like where it belongs.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, that's, yeah. Did you contact Microsoft about this? Did they give you a
Well, it was
console,
out
or-
of warranty by that time. I mean, I've had it. By that time, it would have been maybe 2-3 years old.
Yeah.
And you know, I sent it into them at least twice.
Yeah.
And then I got my replacement console eventually, which I had to actually pay for because it was to the point where there was just no more warranty to be used.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I was like, well, okay, I'm fed up with this. I'll just
Yeah.
have to go and get the next one up.
So did you buy another console?
Yeah,
from them, or?
so no, I went and got it from a store.
Okay, yeah.
So like they were much cheaper then. They're around like $300 something. They weren't $650 like they were at launch.
Yeah.
Which I remember trading in like all my GameCube games and everything for that console, including the console and all the add-ons for it. And
Oh, yeah. So did you end up like paying much for it then at the time, or not really? Probably a couple
I can't
hundred.
remember. Yeah, a couple of hundred, something like that.
That's not bad. It's a good upgrade.
Yeah.
You're going on the next gen console, and it's, you know,
Yeah,
it's a couple
yeah.
hundred bucks. Oh.
Because I did keep my original Xbox. I think that's around there somewhere still.
Well, I have noticed the box in your
Yes.
gaming haven, so
Yes,
hopefully it's
it's
in
all
there.
there. Yes.
Fucking nice.
Yeah.
It was the entertainment pack, I believe.
Yes, it was. So they came with Top Spin, Tennis, and Halo, and it also came with a demo disc of like all the games at the time.
You didn't have any issues with your Xbox, didn't you? The original one.
No, I didn't. No, that was pretty good console. Actually.
Beast of a console, that one, I
Yeah.
guess, so because it was so much bigger than like the other consoles combined. Even it was
Mm.
probably more reliable and this and that. And then the 360 comes around, bam,
Yeah.
bullshit.
Oh, and we've got the Midnight Gaming dog going off again.
Yes, over here at Brad's joint,
Yes.
we have extra guests, willingly or not.
Yes.
But that's all right.
Apologies for him in advance. I should have done that at the very start of this video because he'll chip in his 5 cents with his barking at any time.
Yeah, last time was about retro games. He obviously knows about retro games. Now he's talking about the hard disk experiences.
Believe me, he wasn't even around for that. The other dog was around for that.
I just told him telepathically, like, hey, it's got a 360. It doesn't work. Bullshit.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. So, this second console you bought. Any issues with that?
I had the same issues.
What the hell, really?
Yes.
Was it the same model, or was it the Elite, or was it at the time?
It was the model up. So with this particular model, they upped the hard drive to 60 gigabytes from 20.
Yes.
But they included a HDMI input.
Right.
An output. Sorry, it should be an output.
Output, yeah, because it didn't come originally with that.
Because the first 360 model only came with it's like a component cable. That's right.
Yeah, you could do 1080i. I think was the most.
Yeah, interlaced.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
not quite full HD, but yeah, I think a couple of years later, as you say, the refresh one when the PS3 came out, then they released the HDMI to sort of compete, I guess,
with the Sony, which had. I think it was 1080p out the box, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it was a Blu-ray player as well.
Yeah.
So, and that's why it was almost twice the price.
Yes.
But anyway, we will get to the PS3 because I had bullshit with that. The YLOD. But
yes.
So yeah, you had the same issue with the hardware on this one.
I managed to fix that one myself actually. I actually took that apart, fixed it, and then sold it to someone.
That's
so
right.
I got rid of it.
Yes.
And then I ended up upgrading again to the first model Slim. So it's not the E Slim.
The Slim.
Because there's 4 different friggin' versions of the 360.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, you're right. There's the first one, then there's the Elite one.
Actually, there's 5.
What, including the Elite?
Because there'd be like, there's the initial release, then there's the upgraded one with the HDMI, then there was the Elite, which was like 120 gig and it was black.
That's right, yes.
And then there's a step up from that, which was like the Slim, which was like an Elite, and then there was the E Slim, which is the even like the latest version.
Yeah, when the one came out, they made it look sort of.
Just goes to show how many friggin' problems they had to go through. That many friggin' refreshes of the system.
And hardware refreshes, and trying to.
Microsoft,
not good enough.
Maybe rage so many times.
That's not good enough. Like you buy the console, it costs so much money, you expect it to work and shit, and they didn't do testing with it. Like maybe they only had like Microsoft games that were testing like Halo and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, this works fine, and then everyone else plays their games like Test Drive or Oblivion. It's like, oh, it's fucked. It's not working properly. The disc isn't reading or scratching. Because fuck that.
I even thought, like, I went to like JV Hi-Fi and places like that, and I'm like, I'm having an issues where like the game's freezing on my console, and they're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Well, what we can do is we can swap the disc. I'm like, oh, okay, well that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I went through that many swaps of discs, and it's the same result. I'm like, it's got to be the console. It just has to be at this point. So.
Yeah, if you're like, because you don't install you install a little bit of data on some games on the 360, but otherwise you're reading the disc. So fair enough if it's a faulty disc.
Three 360s I've had. 3.
Should have only been one.
And one, the dead gutted one is around in the shed somewhere, just lying there,
just collecting dust and you'll see it in 10 years.
I think it turns on even without the disc drive and it works, but it's
I don't see why it wouldn't. To be honest, you just wouldn't be able to read discs, obviously. But if you got stuff on the hard drive, like I don't know, Peggle 2 or something,
it's not even worth going to the trouble to like buy a replacement disc drive for it, because what happens is they put like a motherboard card like underneath the disc drive, and that's paired to the console. So if you take that paired drive and put it in a different console, it won't read it because the motherboard's linked to the existing. So then you have to go through this F-around process of taking that like motherboard off that disk drive and then put it on the new disk drive and taking the other one off, sort of thing. So
it's like when you look at the bottom of a hard drive, so it's got that board. It's like one of those boards.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. So you can't just willy-nilly swap and think, oh yeah, it's good. But
nah, you gotta unscrew this.
How stuff is that? It's like.
It's just a symptom of the 360 being, I guess, maybe rushed to the market, or just I don't know, just took the ball with that a little bit. Because the original Xbox was
solid, and then the Xbox One is solid by comparison, and it's like a toy. 360 sounds like a toy almost.
But these games here, my god, fantastic, and we'll get into this as well.
Yes, indeed,
definitely, because that's probably the pick of all of them. Let's be honest.
I mean, I haven't really played Oblivion, but I do know this is what it's like. And
actually, I might regret what I just said there.
So Uncharted versus Oblivion.
Both very different games.
Considering Oblivion's like 4 years older, older.
Yeah, it would be.
And it was it's
It's an RPG.
Yeah, and it's
open world.
Well, back in the day, it was like just the fact you could walk anywhere and do whatever. And I remember MA Stevo coming over and playing that a lot as well, just because it was just amazing.
I remember when he got on his PS3 and he was just loving it. He's like, oh my god, look at these graphics, and he's just like, yes.
It came out a bit later, and PS3 might have had redone textures or whatever, and nice. So I was just about to ask you if the repairs costed you anything. You didn't really go through Microsoft to repair them?
The first time I did, and then like I said, I ran out of warranty, and then it was to the point where it was just unfixable, and then I had to buy a new console. And then it was the same deal again with the other one, when that started to, the other disk drive and that one started to misread, and I fixed that one up.
It's like they stopped working just out of warranty.
And then I ended up, after I fixed that up, I sold it. And then I don't know if it's still working to this day, but I think I did a pretty good repair on it, because like I know it had a lot of dust around the lens and stuff, so I just
clean it up a bit,
and then just found any sort of dust, because the drives themselves, because they're really mechanical, they're not like the feeder ones that you've got now that are fully enclosed. You've got you've got stuff that can get in there.
Yeah, it's true, because when you open it, it opens, like, exposes the whole, like, internal thing. It's like with the PS3 Slim, like not the first one, the second one, where you open up the top and you can see like the laser and the spinning thing. It's like, well, you're exposing the whole thing. Yeah, they were like that, as you say.
And the main problem, what I found particularly with the 360 was, because where the actual like lens reader was, there's like a little mechanical part which like moves the lens. So the lens like sits in this sort of like little dock, and then it moves up and down. So it reads, but when dust gets lodged in there like this, you find that it's not moving as well as what it should.
Stuck a bit or something.
Yeah, so I had to get in there and pry it out that way, and then that got it moving, and that's what fixed the problem for me, funnily enough.
Nice.
Because like it was jammed up mechanically.
So it's not going to reach your games, I guess. Like if it has to reach a certain point of the disc, it won't reach it, and might pause, or the music might stop playing, or just whatever it wants to do.
Whatever.
Nice. So any other issues with the 360 you want to mention? Anything that stands out? Like battle loss,
obviously, like the Red Ring of Death is just like full-on hardware failure, and I mean, I've only half experienced that, so
well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I've had other issues. Like it was just the console of issues, full stop.
Yeah,
there was never a moment where I thought, particularly with my release model, was just like, no, I can't trust this thing. Like it's fingers crossed every time you friggin' play it, and you'd be lucky to get a few hours out of it before you'll have a problem. So
it's like the first 5 minutes you're playing, you're like sort of anxiety, please wait, and then you're enjoying yourself, and bam, something might happen. Must say though, you persisted and you stuck with it over the years because of the great games, I guess.
That's the only reason I kept coming back. If it wasn't for the games and how friggin' good, particularly this one was, Oblivion, I would have just gone, you know what, I'll just go PS3 or whatever.
Yeah, like early on. Because PS3 came out like a year or two after, so. But no, you got PS3 much later.
It just felt like such a waste of money spending like $650. And then going, oh fuck, okay, well I'm kind of stuck with this now.
Yeah.
And then, because then, like, what do? I try and trade it in and get like the PS3, which is like $1,000.
No,
and then I'll end up having, and then they'll give me like, I don't know, however much for the 360 second hand.
Probably not much.
Yeah, and then you'd end up paying like, $600-700 more for the friggin'
for PS3. For the PS3, yeah. So you might as well just buy another 360 for cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
And hope for the best.
Yeah.
Which you seem to do alright with the second console, with the second
360.
So
when it came down in price one too.
Bloody hell. And of course, early on the PS3 as well, this is actually nicely segues into the PS3. Early on, the games and stuff weren't as good graphically and stuff as developers were still getting used to the PS3. So the 360 was still a console that had
very, very different architecture, like components and stuff in the PS3 compared to the 360, because I think the 360 used a tri-core processor, whereas PS3 uses a cell processor.
Yes, which has 7 cores in it. One of them turned off to yield better processing results in manufacture, but it's seriously ridiculous. The memory on the graphics card was doubled on the PS3 though, but you had to try and utilize it with the cell, and they eventually got there. Especially later on the PS3 cycle, you could really tell it was a lot better than the 360, but it took them that long to sort of get there. But
games like Uncharted 3 and
exactly.
just that era. I think Last of Us as well really showed off the power of the console. Even Grand Theft Auto 5 did really well on the PS3 as well.
Yeah, exactly. Those sort of games, you could sort of tell the PS3 was shining in that sort of regard. But it did catch up eventually.
This is like end of the life cycle though, a little bit, which is kind of sad.
Exactly.
It took that long to.
It didn't really come out of the gates as $1,000 system, like in terms of quality of graphics and gameplay and stuff at first anyway. But it did make up for it with it had full backwards compatibility at the start with PS2 discs and PS1 discs. With the 360 you have to like download games, which is still nice. But the PS3 was like almost twice as much, so you expect this sort of functionality.
Yeah, that's right.
But regardless, the PS3 still has issues. So I didn't have a launch model PS3, but my mate Steve paid $1,000 for it and $100 for like Ridge Racer or something. Fucking hell, that's ridiculous. But good on him. That died, I don't know, a few years after. It's just because it's a launch console and things happen in that regard. However, there are still launch models out there of PS3s that are working, so you just got to get lucky with that, I guess.
Yeah, it's very hit and miss.
It is, it can be, definitely. But they refreshed that fat model. They got rid of the PS2 chipset in it, so it didn't have backwards compatibility in that. And but they also got rid of some card readers and stuff as well, so I guess the internals were a bit better. But this is the model that I had that fucked up on me and gave me the yellow light of death, or the YLOD, or the YOLO, whatever you want to call it.
The YOLO slag light.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking give your PS3 some extra bling. So the reason this game's out here is because I was playing this when it happened to me. So I remember the scene too. It was at the beginning of the game. If you remember, when you're on the train.
Yes, I do remember the train.
In the snow and stuff, and you're crawling around or whatever. And I was just, doing your thing as you do in Uncharted, skipping to certain points and jumping around and stuff, and then
admiring those freaking amazing visuals.
Oh yeah,
the snow blowing around.
The landscape scenery. I think there was one particular scene where there was like something collapses or something happens. It just looked amazing.
I think the train derailed, and then you're like hanging off the side of it. Is that right? Like
possibly,
or something, and you have to climb up the inside to get back up.
Yeah. I think
using the
might be right.
Yeah,
like you gotta just quickly go through or something. Regardless, it looked fantastic. And it was at that point when my PS4 was PS3, so it just swagged itself in yellow light of death. So the way to fix this initially, funnily enough, you've probably heard about this, is the hairdryer fix.
Okay.
So what people were managing to do, because the problem with the yellow light of death was the thermal paste on the CPU would apparently just detach or dry up or just do whatever. So what you do is, or what people will do is they put the PS4 and they wrap it around in some towels, or they put it in a box, and then you get a hairdryer and you just blast it, and then it melts the thermal paste sort of back into place. Talk about a fuck around. So I took the PS3 to some place in just in the Epping shopping centre, and there was an electronics sort of guy.
Is it like the one near JB?
Yeah,
the one at the back.
I don't know what it's called. But that one. So I asked them, do you fix PS3s? Yeah. The yellow light of death? Yeah. So I reckon they did that. They get the hairdryer and they fixed it, which worked for 6 months or so, which was alright. But then it just died again, and I just packed it away and I bought a. Because it was out of warranty by then and stuff. It was same deal with 360s. Because it lasted, I think, 3 years. Or 2 years. No, it lasted 2 years. So it would have been very similar to what yours did, exactly. So, I bought another PS3. It was the slim one at the time. And that's the one I'm still using today. 7-8 years later. So, good on it. I've got to give it a bit of a clean though. The dust is sort of making the fans world and stuff.
Mine's actually under my entertainment, it's not actually plugged in, it's not plugged in, it's gathering dust, but...
Should,
I got it for nothing, which is fair enough because I paid for that many friggin' 360s.
Yeah, it was a nice gift for you to eventually come across the PS3, and now you have both Xbox and PS3, so you're gaming elite.
I probably wouldn't have a PlayStation if that didn't happen to me, I reckon.
Probably not, man. Well, I mean, you would have no reason to buy one, wouldn't you? Like,
no,
you
not
know,
really.
You just got really lucky that you came across one, and because me and Steve had one as well, we started playing Call of
And
Duty
luckily
together.
for me, like, the bloody thing was fantastic, like, hardware-wise, like, I had no issues with it at all, and I reckon if I plugged it in today, it'd still work, no dramas, because it hasn't been touched.
Yeah,
like,
so
it's not going to get damaged if it's not working, so.
no, that's right.
Yeah.
And you've been playing it like less than I have over the years because you have both consoles, so you would switch in between stuff. So yours would still work perfectly, which is good.
Yeah.
And when you did get your PS3 as well, just very quickly, you bought quite a few games for it.
Yeah, I did actually. I went nuts when I first got
Yeah.
it because I thought, oh, okay, right, PlayStation 3 exclusive. What do we got? Okay, Uncharted, go.
That's the go-to, man.
And then, you know, I started thinking, well, you know, like Uncharted 1 was already out at the time, Uncharted 2.
Yep.
And then, you know, it was sort of that time where Uncharted 3 was announced and it was going to come out, and I thought, oh, okay, so that'll be the next thing to sort of pre-order and get on, and yeah, it just sort of all went from there, and I ended up just starting to buy more games on my PS3 because my other Xbox was getting to the point where it was shitting itself.
I couldn't trust it. No. Did the just quickly, the 360 Slim, like the latest one that you got, does that have a normal disk drive still, or is it?
Yeah, it has the same sort of drive.
So they're all just sort of the same.
Very similar
drive. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the E is the same as well. It's got like that drive sort of thing.
I was trying to remember, there was like another game that I got, like it was like Medal of Honor, one of the Medal of Honors.
Was it Airborne, was it?
No, Airborne came with it, I think,
Okay.
or the original one. Like, no, it wasn't Airborne though. It was I think it was just called Medal of Honor, the refresh.
The reboot.
Yeah, that was the
That
first
came
one.
out that long ago now.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
It still feels fresh in my mind.
And that was such a good game too, because it had like, I remember it came with like the beta for Battlefield 3, like had a code for the beta for Battlefield 3. And I'm like, oh yeah, sick, Battlefield 3, and then I got Battlefield 3 on it, and then I was playing that.
Okay.
So that was like 2010-ish, I think, I got it. So 2010, 2011.
Yep. Yeah, it was around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got it in 2010 because Black Ops came out in 2010. And
Yeah.
we played that.
Too, and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
oh.
Here we are still playing Call of Duty and this and that or whatever. And, so on the topic of actually this, any controllers and accessories that you've had issues with reliability wise and shit, or has it all been sort of all right?
You got me thinking now.
There's not many
Battery
accessories.
packs.
Oh god, yeah.
Because the 360, like the ones that were designed, they use copper contacts to actually get the charge from one point to the other.
Yeah.
So you'd find if they get dirty or too worn out, you'd find that the battery pack would stop functioning as it should, and then you'd have to buy a new one.
Is it because you'd have to take it out of the back of the controller and that
because
bit would always rubble?
So, I don't know, the best, no, it'd be nice about the controller here, if we could grab it, but anyway. It sat at the back and it had like a little clip at the top, and then it sort of like clicked in like
Clips in
that.
from the bottom to the top,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you push it down at the top and then it goes in, and then you release and attaches that way. But you found even if the tab at the top that you click down starts to get worn, that it won't sit properly.
Oh,
so then it'd start, you know, like disconnecting or cutting out.
Yeah, like it won't contact itself as much, and then your controller just dies, and you're thinking,
in mid game, and you're like, but I charged the bloody thing, and then you go on at the back and you're like tapping it, and then all of a sudden it works, and you're like, oh come on.
Fuck.
So I mean, I reckon some people have to probably even tape it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Tape or blue tack or just
Yeah.
something to keep it, because you can't plug in the controller without the battery pack, can't you? Like you need, even if you're doing it wired, you need something there.
Yeah, even if you're using battery packs, there was like a shell case for your battery packs to get slotted into, and then that'd still even clip into the back of the controller.
Yeah.
Because of the way it was designed.
Bloody hell.
And even if that like had a broken tab at the top, you'd still have to bloody tape it to it to stop it from moving around and disconnecting your controller while you're playing a game. So.
They did fix that with the Xbox One, didn't they? Though?
Yeah, because it's on the inside this one, so
whole thing,
it fits in where the batteries fit in. So so it's a much better design.
It is,
thank
yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's flush and it doesn't get in the way, which is my biggest complaint with the 360 controller, is that damn battery pack at the back, which is
whatever.
PS3 had it all inbuilt.
It did.
PS4 as
It
well,
did.
so
Which is nicer. I mean, look, the PS3, the PS3 battery, it does die out, so you do need to replace it eventually. But in the time that you do have it and it's working, it's so much more convenient than just replacing batteries all the time. So, you know, they're different solutions to the same problem, I guess. But
there's another thing that I just sort of
Yes.
go off on about just from the controllers was having the external brick for power for the 360,
Jesus.
and then subsequently on the Xbox One when it came out, the initial release for that,
the damn brick.
and just trying to find room for the bloody thing. Well, that's another complaint. Like,
Yeah, that's just more bullshit that gets in the way, and it can overheat because it gets pretty hot, those things.
Yeah, it does. I know some people that actually like hung bricks from a string, like because it got that fucking hot.
It's fucking hell. Just another thing that can go wrong,
Yeah.
essentially. So yeah, all PlayStations, they have had that thing built in.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, the original Xbox, actually, the original Xbox is so damn big, everything was going to be put in there,
Put in
obviously.
there, yeah.
Bloody
Which
hell.
is a much better design for that reason.
Yeah, exactly. And then they check out and do this or that, or what have you.
I don't know. I don't know what their logic was with that one.
I don't know either, mate.
It's very strange.
Anyway, we'll wrap things up there.
Yep.
Thank you for inviting me into your abode and bringing out these lovely games here for us to talk about.
I reckon these games are a solid. What,
It's a good lineup,
It's a
isn't it?
rating. What do we do our rating out of 5 again?
Yes. All right. If you're going to rate these, you either give it 1 star, or 2 stars, or 3, 4, or
No in
5.
between. No in between. That's the rule.
No in between, because then it's just pointless. So
I'd have to give this a 5. Definitely.
I don't blame you for that. I mean, we can add both of these together in the same thing.
Yes, because that's. I mean, the add-on content for that was fantastic as well.
Mhm.
Shivering Island.
Relatively priced as well.
Definitely.
Nice.
Definitely.
Nice.
Like you get like at least another 40 hours gameplay.
Just like the
out of
whole
this.
game.
Yeah.
More so than
Yeah.
some games. Like,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because this came with, I think, Knights of the Nine, which is another sort of story quest as well.
Yes.
Which was focuses on sort of a different. It's more a part of the main game than it is the other. Because Shivering Isles is a separate world altogether
Like a
from
more,
Oblivion.
a different
Yeah.
land or whatever, or
Exactly
place
right.
in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Nice.
This would be a 4.
Yeah.
I'm
From
not
what you
tempted-
told me,
I'm not tempted to give it a 5 out of 5 because there was still some issues with it. Like the online connection was still a bit iffy, but I don't know if I could put that down to the internet back then. But
I mean, maybe it could be Xbox Live as well. You know, thousands of people, millions of people are connecting and this and that. But it's still a good service regardless, and especially back in the day because you pay for it, right?
yeah, exactly.
Pay for what you get.
We've both played this one, so I'll let you review that one first.
Trying to do well. Look, it's been a while since I played it. I'm gonna say a 4.
A 4.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a 4
At least a 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely give 1 a 5, just because it's Uncharted 1, and I get nostalgic for that every few years. I just want to replay it, and I do just because it's just certain scenes and stuff. Yeah, it's so good. Definitely a 4 at least. Solid game, solid gameplay. Even got some PlayStation Network features, so all networked here, which is a product of that generation.
And as I was saying to you at the start, I love the way they used to do the old game cases for
Yes.
PS3.
So the old style PlayStation 3 covers, in case you guys aren't aware, it's got PlayStation 3 on the side, and on the top it's also built into the case too. And it's just a nice, and also the old school coloured logo is on there,
Yes.
which they still kept on the actual console as well, because on the old one you could change the actual icon. If it was vertical, you change it vertical.
Oh,
Really nice little
sick.
detail, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then they sort of got rid of that with the slim and whatnot, and just they changed the logo to black and white, which is what it is now. Sorry,
You got it out? That's
I
all
did
good.
follow it. But yeah, good shit.
Yeah.
Good games, good chat, good shit.
Fantastic.
Well, as I said, wrap things up there, and thank you guys for joining us.
Very nostalgic.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's good to go back to last gen and old games and talk
Yes.
about them. I should definitely make an effort to do more of that on this show because
It's just this stuff that defined that era, basically, like
Yeah.
of gaming.
yeah, and it's getting old enough now that we can look back and pick out what actually sort of made it good, and because when you're in the current gen, you can't sort of take a step back and realise how important it is.
And you don't have that sort of, I don't know if it's the same for you, but I don't have that same sort of feeling about like current gen games as I do about these ones. Like,
Yeah.
these are the ones that give you the most sort of, joy and like good positive feels about
Yeah.
gaming. Like now it just feels like games are just pushed out, they're all buggy, and like this stuff is complete. It's not just we'll patch it later and all that stuff. Like,
There is a bit of that with this
minor,
gen,
minor stuff with this.
You get some patches, but
Yeah.
not terribly much.
I guess mostly because you had online connections and stuff, so you had to sort of patch that a little bit here and there. But we'll see in 10 years' time what we have to say about this gen, about DLC patches or what have you. I mean, there might be something worse coming. We're very thankful for what we have now.
Indeed.
Well, yeah. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys later on the Villa Gaming Guys.
Catch you later.
Catch you.